of the things that I wanted to discuss for the near future of space is this intersection of 3D printing and space. I mean, we are obviously massively into this here on Earth. We have our lab here with AG3D where we 3D print a lot of the props that we have here on the show, and we also use them on practical things around our house, and are always thinking of new things that would be useful for a 3D printer, and things that you can do that you couldn't do without one. And even in space, a company like Made in Space has their 3D printer installed on the International Space Station, and that is being used. In one case, an astronaut that was up there needed a wrench to finish or do whatever they were doing up there, so they emailed the file of the 3D file of the wrench. They printed it on the 3D printer on the station, and then that astronaut was able to use it without them needing to launch something else into space. And that is where I think 3D printing and additive manufacturing can help change the game as far as what we're able to do. So if you think of it at its core level, 3D printing allows you to do work while you're able to do other work. It's what we utilize here, and this is part of that work stacking that I discussed before, right? So one of the things that I loved that was taught to me by a toolmaker, plastic injection molding. He had these injection molding machines at his house, and he was having them run while he was also at his day job working. And there was some explanation that he gave me, and he was like, "Yeah," he's like, when I'm here at home, those molds are running, and every time that thing opens up, money. And while obviously making money while you're also doing something else is an amazing thing, just the idea that you could do something while something else does something, and you're able to stack the amount of work that you're able to do in the finite amount of time that you have as a human being. Being able to do more in that same amount of time is extremely valuable, and it's allowed me to achieve what I've done today. It's helped me look into things like automation and ways in which we can get more done in the time that we have. And that is something that I picked up from researching Elon Musk and SpaceX early on. Elon Musk specifically. This is definitely a somewhat Silicon Valley idea, but this idea of stacking work can be really, really useful. The challenge, and this is what where I really peeled back the onion a little too far, with my own life, was that the challenge with a work stacking method is you have to be really vigilant to make sure that none of the stacks that you're working with, you don't want them all to have an issue at the same time, because then now so let's say for a 3D printer, right? If one of my 3D printers go down, I have to spend time working on that, and that takes me away physically from doing something else. So if I'm on top of my maintenance and I make sure that, hey, I've got to clean the bed when I do this, I've got to make sure if this part's starting to fail, I need to replace it, things like that. Making sure that I'm doing that when things are slow is the right way to do it, but when things are busy, it sucks. When, recently we're starting to interview a lot more people for People of Science, so that requires me to go out there, reach out to people, make schedules, do planning, which is definitely not something I'm great at. We got a lot of people that we wanted to reach out to recently, so there was that work, and it just became crazy. And it's interesting because as much as I've learned the benefits of work stacking from Elon Musk, I've also seen and also experienced what happens when that work stacking gets a little out of whack, and you can see the pressure that it's had on Elon Musk. I mean, how many companies does that guy run? I mean, you want to talk about the ultimate work stacking. While that guy is doing something, there are 5 or 6 different companies doing things at the same time, and he has to manage that, and it goes through him. And I think that is one of the downsides, if we talk about the balance of this, right, of work stacking, which is you can become the bottleneck. And when you're the bottleneck for multiple things, it can be extremely stressful, and you've got to be smart about how you deal with that.